some wisdom skills along the way.
Oh, and a song to hum along with and sway.
Get your perfect entertaining start to the day.
At 9 a.m. every weekday morning with
Mahima's
Mahima's Good Morning Babe.
गुड मॉर्निंग बे आप सभी लोग हमारी तरफ से एक प्यार भरा सुप्रभात
Namaste.
नमस्कार
Namaskara.
वणक्कम
Kushamdeed.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम
మీకందరికి వందనము.
जय स्वामी नारायण
जय श्री कृष्ण.
जय जिनेन्द्रा
मैं इस्माइली भाई बंधु को बोलते हैं याली मदद.
मलाली मतलब बोलते हैं सारे फीजी मतलब बोलेंगे नीसा बुलबरजन हम आ गए हैं आपके प्यारे महिमा के द्वारे मैं से फालतू बाबा
And of course, myself, Faltu Rani, लेकर आपके लिए और drive time. That's gonna make it totally exciting and totally masta about the job.
to the baja without any further ado let's go check out what's happening on the traffic today a Friday.
It's time for the Bandu Traffic Update. Call us from wherever you are at 408-912-2479.
Yeah, Baljan, 408-912-2479. And, today I think there's a traffic accident with some injuries and everything, Baljan, on 101 southbound at the East Hillsdale Boulevard, affecting the ramp which is going on to the 92, Baljan, going towards Half Moon Bay and also towards the other side of town. Of the bay actually, so that's kind of one of the things I report for you guys. And similarly, there's also an accident, a fire actually on 580 eastbound at Grand Avenue. Yeah, fire you say, and how? I don't know. That doesn't give much information, but the CHP is already on the scene trying to get under control. A severe traffic alert because of an accident of 101 northbound north of the CA1 in Sausalito, you know Sausalito is dangerous road already. यहाँ पे तो यार थोड़ा congestion दिख रहा है, लेकिन the CHP on the scene, so it'll be cleared up anyways for you guys. Otherwise, the freeway looking kind of free all the way around. And if you're wondering what's going to happen today, it's going to be raining and all. It's cloudy, chances of rain very, very low.
Look outside, it's not even cloudy. It's like burned up, Altu Baba.
Faltrani, you came inside around half an hour ago, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's already overcast has started off. It's kind of cloudy, Bundajan. Yeah, it was sunny a few minutes ago, but not anymore. What's going to happen tomorrow? Chances of rain. We don't know. Chances of rain is 50%. They're saying 60% as of now. But क्या होगा उसके बारे में और जानकारी देंगे आपको मुझे, because tomorrow is our Valentine Day event, which actually we planned for Saturday. Rain or shine, if we could have a Valentine Day, because you guys are going to be safe in the rain. We got to figure out how we can get our speakers safe actually. Let's see what happens. देखते हैं बच्चे इसके बारे में और आपको जानकारी मिलेगी. And आगे बढ़ते हुए फालतू रानी, what's the headlines for today? Balujan are very eager to know what's happening with the news.
President Joe Biden is going to be pressing for $1.9 trillion in the COVID relief plan with governors and mayors today. There's a Reuters exclusive about how Biden aides launch a review into closing the Guantanamo Bay prison, long a source of discord. Trump's lawyers to present his case for acquittal in the impeachment trial. They expect that they'll be done in 3 to 4 hours. Georgia prosecutor says Trump probe will be looking at the intent of that phone call. Dose shortages undermine push by U.S. states to speed up COVID-19 vaccinations. The United States schools are pressured to reopen in the pandemic, and they're all going to be getting new CDC guidelines. United States continues plan to keep Central American migrants at bay. Biden moves to, on the other hand, bring in asylum seekers forced to wait in Mexico under the Trump program. They're planning to bring them into the United States. UK Supreme Court to rule on worker rights case at Uber on February 19th. Remember, here it went to referendum, and unfortunately, workers' rights were voted against. I was really shocked that happened. Anyway, Tesla must recall 12,300 Model X cars over faulty moulding, apparently. And in Delhi, Noida region, Delhi and NCR region, earthquake tremors have been felt. More on that will be coming up shortly. After expressing concern, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau now praises India for holding dialogue with the protesting farmers. And what else is in the farm saga so far? We'll try to bring you that: controversy, violence, and international support. And there was some news that came out yesterday with regard to how India has conceded some part of that territory, right? The disputed territory. But Defense Ministry is saying they have not conceded any territory to China. So they're saying it's just being misinterpreted and miscommunicated. More on all this coming up shortly.
All right, Banjan, that's going to come for you guys in just a few minutes. So, Sepele, what we're going to do is take a quick, listen to our Ganika Kida, which also is a message for everybody out there to make sure you can spread happiness to people, Banjan, if you can, as much as possible.
जीना इसी का नाम है
किसी का दर्द मिल सके तो ले
Deepak is also.
किसी के वास्ते हो तेरे दिल में प्यार जीना इसी का नाम है अमीर है मानो अपनी जेब से फकीर है फिर भी यार अभी के हम अमीर हैं
And of course, Banjan, चले बाहर के लिए वो जिंदगी. And of course, Banjan, that's what it is. किसी और के जीने में क्या मजा आता है, Banjan? It actually is wonderful to actually be selfless. When it's easier to preach than done, and people say, but when you come to practice, you understand what exactly it means and how you can be of support to somebody else, but and how simple it is to be of support to somebody else. That's what Pragnya Ally Support trains you in and makes you understand, and we all practice it actually at Pragnya. And right now, but just time for us to go back and see what's the news in detail. Faltani,
Yes.
थोड़ा और विस्तार से news दे दीजिएगा, please.
Donald Trump's defense lawyers will be arguing at his impeachment trial today that the former president should be acquitted of inciting last month's deadly riot at the U.S. Capitol as the Senate races towards a final vote as soon as Saturday. David Schoen, one of Trump's lawyers, said the defense team would take 3 to 4 hours to lay out their case, convicting Trump for inciting the Jan 6th riot, which sent lawmakers scrambling for safety and resulted in the deaths of 5 people, including a police officer and subsequently 2 other police officers who died by suicide after the incident. Trump's lawyers have argued that his rhetoric was protected by the U.S. Constitution's free speech guarantee and that prosecutors had not directly connected the actions of the rioters to Trump. So, Democratic prosecutors, however, had wrapped up their case on Thursday, arguing that Trump knew what would happen when he exhorted supporters to march out the Capitol, onto the Capitol, and fight like hell. This was the phrase that he used as Congress gathered to certify Democrat Joe Biden's victory in the November 3rd election, and that the Republican former president should be held accountable. President Joe Biden will meet with a bipartisan group of mayors and governors on Friday as he continues to push for approval of a $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief plan to bolster economic growth and help millions of unemployed workers. Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris will also receive an economic briefing from Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen shortly after she takes part in the first meeting of the group of 7 rich economies since the new administration took office. Biden's proposed spending package, coming on top of the $4 trillion enacted by his predecessor Donald Trump, will have important consequences for the global economy, which is slowly recovering but very unevenly after last year suffering its worst downturn since the Great Depression in the 1930s. Also, the Biden administration has launched a formal review of the future of the U.S. military prison at Guantanamo Bay in Cuba, reviving the Obama-era goal of closing the controversial facility, a White House official said on Friday. Aides involved in internal discussions are considering an executive action to be signed by President Joe Biden in the coming weeks and months. 2 people familiar with the matter told Reuters, signaling a new effort to remove what human rights advocates have called a stain on America's global image. For those of you who don't know, Guantanamo Bay is that, you watch all these spy movies, right, where, what do you call that? They ship away these international people over there. Nobody
Hey,
knows.
wasn't there an Indian movie also about that? A movie called New York? Wasn't it about Guantanamo Bay?
Yes, something like that. Yes,
where
yes.
he's a threat. He's
Yeah.
considered to be a terrorist threat, and then they put him in a prison.
Indeed. And nobody can reach you. You don't have access to your lawyers, none of that stuff.
Yeah,
over
you
there.
know, I tell you, like Joy Abraham makes some good movies, man.
Yeah. Well, there's somebody else who's looking at Trump probe, and that is, we told you about the Georgia prosecutors, right? The prosecutor investigating whether Donald Trump tried to influence the result of Georgia's 2020 presidential election suggested that the former president knew what he was doing when he asked a state official to, quote, find, unquote, one more vote that he needed to win.
Wow.
Yeah. Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis is investigating Trump after a Jan 2nd telephone call he made pressuring Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger to overturn the state's election results based on unfounded voter fraud claims. The investigation is the second known state criminal probe of Trump, whose tax and business affairs are now under investigation in New York. This probe was announced amid the second impeachment trial of the Republican former president, who is accused of inciting supporters to storm the U.S. Capitol on Jan 6th. Let's talk a little bit about the coronavirus. Punjab, when the US government began shipping COVID-19 vaccines in December, state health providers could not administer shots fast enough to keep pace with deliveries, and millions of doses sat waiting for arms. 2 months later, the situation has reversed. Supply constraints are slowing ambitious vaccination programs as massive sites capable of putting shots into thousands of arms daily in states like New York, California, Florida, and Texas, as well as hospitals and pharmacies beg for more doses. Nearly a dozen state and local officials told Reuters that they could vaccinate up to 4 times more people, but federal vaccine shipments remain really, really frustratingly small, apparently. 2 months into the vaccine rollout, most states have received enough doses to vaccinate fewer than 10% of their residents. With deliveries based on population, most states receive fewer than 100,000 doses per week of the Pfizer, BioNTech, and the Moderna vaccines that both require 2 shots. So if you want to catch up more on that story, you can go to mediamahima.com.
So what's the situation with COVID over here? Is it, I heard last time it was actually coming down, and they should be rejoicing the fact that we are winning the war against COVID.
Well, the UK coronavirus variant is actually posing a threat to Europe, and the World Health Organization has warned that shutdowns may be necessary across the region.
But didn't Gavin Newsom actually yesterday come out to say that they found a variation of the South African virus variant over here in Alameda and also in Santa Clara County?
I don't know. Do you have that update?
Well, I don't have more update than the fact that he actually announced it saying that it was there. But again, they claim that the vaccine shots people are getting will keep them safe from the new variant is also what they're claiming. And even the manufacturers like Moderna and also Pfizer have confirmed that
Right.
in a press release, saying that it actually is able to protect people from the new variant. But the key thing is the variant should not be allowed to spread. Now, that again brings you back to the same message to everybody out there. Please wear your mask. It's not done all the way. We still have a couple of more months to go. 6 months at least, everybody gets, we have a critical mass of vaccination, which actually will affect the control of virus, because even if it is like a 0.3% of increase as of now, in Santa Clara alone, there are 300 new cases coming up every day.
Right.
0.3%
Wow.
in Santa Clara alone. And if you look at statewide, if you look at it, we still have around close to 9,000 people. That's like 0.3% increase every day.
Yeah.
Rate of increase. So even the number of deaths also unfortunately went up. Yesterday we had around 500 new deaths of coronavirus in the state. Sad, somber thing. But again, let's try to keep the rate of increase low, please.
Yes, Manjana, and if you have the opportunity to get vaccinated, please do. And I just read today that Facebook is going to be cracking down on false information, especially related to autism and vaccines. They're going to be removing posts and pages and groups that are talking about this, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they don't want false information to be spread that vaccines cause autism and things like that. So
Yeah, there's no proof to that actually.
yeah, it is not causative, and there's not been any proof of that. So anyway, that's a news headline that I got from the Disability Scoop. So also, let's tell you, CDC is expected soon to release new guidelines for reopening schools. which is another step in President Biden's plan to get teachers and students back into classrooms. The Australian state of Victoria is beginning a 5-day shutdown to quash a COVID-19 cluster, which means the much discussed Australian Open will continue without spectators mostly. What is the CDC guidelines? We will bring that to you over here. There are about 130,000 elementary and secondary schools all over the United States where we're actually trying to figure out how they can open safely with practices in place such as hand washing, masking, social distancing, cleaning, etc., etc. Persons familiar with the matter said. The United States, in the days before US President Joe Biden's inauguration, Mexican soldiers patrolling the banks of the wide Suchiate River found few migrants amid the flow of trade across the water from Guatemala. The likely explanation lay hundreds of miles to the south, where baton-wielding Guatemalan security forces beat back one of the largest US-bound migrant caravans ever assembled, according to a Reuters photographer and witnesses. So, there is an issue about Guatemalan refugees trying to come into the United States. More on that story you'll find on MediaMahima.com. Although the US government next week will begin to gradually process asylum seekers forced to wait in Mexico under a controversial program put in place by former President Donald Trump, officials said. The moves are part of a plan by the administration of President Joe Biden to end the program known as the Migrant Protection Protocols, an effort complicated by the ongoing coronavirus pandemic and concerns over illegal immigration. Also, in some technology news, Britain's Supreme Court will announce a decision on Feb 19th in a case regarding workers' rights at the taxi app Uber that could have ramifications for millions of others earning a living through the gig economy. And Tesla is now recalling about 12,300 Model X cars worldwide due to car body moulding problems, Germany's motor vehicle company KBA said on its website. KBA said the recall affects cars built in 2015 and 2016, adding that there was a risk that the moulding could actually fall off the vehicle.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a risk.
Yes.
It's a safety hazard.
Indeed. And there was breaking news this morning. Earthquake tremors have been felt in parts of Delhi-NCR on Friday. We're still awaiting details on this particular story, Banjan. We don't know what exactly is going on. It is a developing story. We will bring you updates right here on Good Morning Bay tomorrow. And in the farmers' protests, Banjan, controversy, violence, and international support, from peaceful demonstrations to violent rallies, from chakka jams to celebrity attention, the farmers' agitation against the 3 new agricultural laws has become a saga of many twists and turns that has captured both national as well as international attention. The movement, which began as sporadic protests in Punjab, is following the enactment of the laws in September last year, took a mainstream turn when farmers gave the Delhi Chalo call. And right now, there is international support that's coming around for Prime Minister Modi for initiating talks. And they're saying that this is an internal matter of India, including Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada, who said that India can handle this on their own. That's all we have time for, actually, on this morning's Good Morning Babe and Jan. We'll be back tonight live at 5 on the Pam Pam Show with Ye Sham Mastani. Have yourselves a Mastani fantastic Friday. And don't forget to book for this wonderful Valentine drive-in tomorrow. We have about 3 spaces remaining.
Two, I suppose. Because we only have, the afternoon show. The noon show actually has 2 spaces, you're right.
Yeah. So the noon show has 2 spaces, but please go to pragnya.org. It's a drive-in Valentine celebration. It's going to be an amazing day, an amazing Valentine celebration. So join us tomorrow, pragnya.org. We will see you tonight, live at 5. Have yourselves a fantastic Friday. Yay!
किसी को हो ना हो हमें तो एतबार जीना इसी का नाम है